Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a foundation. I haven't done a foundation review in a really long time, like a full-on dedicated foundation review. And so I thought I'd give the new Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation a go. The whole Pretty Fresh range I have and I really like. I do think that the tinted moisturizer is just too sheer for me. So I hope this is a little more high coverage, but still within the same hydrating range, and I may complement this with the concealer as well. My shade in the tinted moisturizer is Fair 1N, and I got Fair 10N for the foundation. It does seem a little light on the swatches, but I've also been told this oxidizes a little bit, so the concealer shade I have is also 10 Neutral. This is the new foundation, 10N. This is the concealer, 10N. And this is the 1N tinted moisturizer. I think they're pretty much around the same shade. My skin has been really patchy because I've been using retinol for acne. And so I've been trying to hydrate it these last couple days just so I could give a fair review. I've been having a lot of breakouts lately, and I think it's because of it's so hot, and when you're wearing masks, everything kind of, but here it's been kind of controlled, sort of, but my cheeks, yeah. I never usually have that much on my cheeks, so I do think it's the masks. I don't know, it could be literally anything. So yeah, I usually do the brush side first, but I'm already with my hand here, so. A medium coverage. I do think we can build this up to a fuller coverage in a bit. It is slightly paler than my shade, but it does blend well into my skin shade, and if it oxidizes, it's good to have it a little bit lighter. So this is a first. I'm gonna try to go with a second layer. As always, expect to use a little bit more foundation when you're using a sponge, but I do always prefer the sponge. I prefer to waste product and have like a flawless finish. I just don't know how people still use brushes. I mean, maybe it's me, maybe it's my skin that's so messed up. Second layer is much better. I'm just gonna do a third little layer just here on the spots. Today I'm gonna be using the Huda Beauty Face Fluff and Blend. Okay, so my skin isn't totally rejecting it, which happened to me the other day, and that's good. So that means my skin isn't overly patchy. I really like the finish. It is lovely with the brush. It's just way more flawless without a brush. You do get more coverage with a brush though. So if you want, you can go with a brush and then just finish out a little bit with a blender. But this is just the first layer, and you can see already that it was so much more coverage than the first layer of sponge. I'm gonna just try a little bit more on those pigmented areas. This is definitely a good shade for me. I was kind of worried, but it worked out right. It has a dewy finish, but it's not overly dewy. It's kind of like a satiny dewy. If we compare this, for example, with the Fenty Hydrating Foundation, the Fenty is much more dewy. Okay, I see now that I apply a little bit on top. It does oxidize slightly, but that actually worked in my favor. But it's very slight. It's not like super oxidizing. When you try to build it up, it ends up with the same coverage as the sponge, to be honest, which is, I would say, a medium coverage. Just gonna use the concealer under eyes. I really love this concealer. I love under eye hydrating concealers. With the Zoeva 110, I'm gonna go under my eyes here. And that looks flawless even with the brush. I really love this concealer. And then I'm gonna go under eyes here. It is pretty much the same. The finish is very similar. I'm just gonna apply a little bit of concealer on my pigmented spots, just like a tiny little bit. I always say that I don't have foundations that I can use on their own. I think this one is a really good one that I could use on my own. It's a nice enough coverage that I can just go with concealer on top. I prefer that to full coverage. And the color is really a good match for me. So this is what it looks like underneath the concealer. It's pretty flawless. I'm still gonna powder because otherwise I'm gonna crease, but yeah. And this is what the foundation actually looks like. Even the concealer is not like super high coverage, but yeah, I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and I'll be back in a little bit so you can see how it looks with powdered and everything. Do some close-ups. I feel like I've Okay, it's really hot, so I've powdered under eyes and T-zone because I'm sweating like a mofo, and I do want this foundation to kind of last a little bit. The only part that's kind of working out, but again, any foundation would do this, is because I'm sweating in this dimple. I feel it sweating there, and so it's breaking apart a little bit here. Other than that, all other parts are perfect. The powder didn't really, like the blush and everything. I used cream, blush, and bronzer, and I used the powder highlighter, and nothing really disturbed anything. For now, it looks flawless. If you're interested in this red makeup look, I actually did this with the Colourpop Main Squeeze palette. That's why I have these babies. I did film a tutorial, so that will be on Instagram soon. I'll see you at 9 p.m. So, oh my god, my makeup is all over the place because my eyes are really runny. But anyway, this is the end of the day. It's been 8 hours and this is a check-in. It was a tough day because there was a lot of sweat happening. A little bit of it moved around, but overall I think the foundation held really nicely. In terms of coverage, it did disappear a little bit, but I also wore a mask for like 5 minutes, so that might have been it. Here, the coverage is a bit more still intact. It's a little bit broken down, but it's not too bad. If you have dry skin, you are probably gonna love this foundation. This was one of the hottest days of the year, and it held on pretty well for a hydrating foundation, so I'm really happy about that. Seriously, what is happening? So that's pretty much it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the little bell button so you know every single time I'm uploading. This lighting is really not flattering on me at all. So I'm gonna leave, okay?